pool, as calm and calming as the touch of a goddess's hand. Fish of many colours, colours of the rainbow, and more than the rainbow. Red, gold, turquoise, cream, sky blue, hyacinth blue, the orange of fire, the black of raven, sea green, pine green, emerald, jade, winding slowly, weaving slowly and slowly unwinding, falling, rising. The water beneath them, discoloured, mist like dirty snow, dots of white and a dark speck within. Fish eggs. Spawn.
Shonagon? Shonagon, can you hear me?
Of course I can hear you.
Oh, you're awake.
So it would seem.
You were so still, I didn't know.
I'm not dead, Saisho.
Of course not. I'm sorry, but you hardly seem to be breathing.
I was composing a list.
Oh.
Oh, I know you have no interest in my lists. Pointless, you think, meaningless.
Some of them are very pretty.
I overheard you once talking to a gentleman. They're not quite poems, and they're not quite stories. I really don't quite know what they are.
Mere banter. Hardly worth taking note of for such a long time.
I wasn't eavesdropping. Not deliberately. Or maybe I was. I don't remember. That reminds me, while I'm prisoner here, you must bring me all the palace gossip.
You're not a prisoner.
My chains are invisible. They're inside me, spawning.
You're not in pain. You've been feeling easy enough to compile a list.
The word is compose.
How long has the pain been gone?
I've no idea. I was adrift, winding and weaving.
I remember one of your lists. It was rather shocking. A bit amusing, too.
That was one of my gifts. To shock, amusingly. When I was a free woman.
That's what the list was about. Freedom. The advantages of not being a mother. The freedom, always, from the burden of children.
Something he said yesterday, Yukinari.
What?
And a lady and I.
And that's all?
Oh, you just stopped. Who was the lady? She was part of the story about Inakichi and the Emperor, so she must be important. Is she?
Yes.
Important to you? She is. Tell me about her. Tell me all. Tell me everything.
She's a lady in waiting to the Empress. I'm a policeman, and miracles are rare. Also, she's married, and she's pregnant.
Ah.
Her husband prefers men. The child is mine.
Yukinari.
What?
Let's go fishing.
Memories of my father. My hand in his, warm and safe and perfectly fitting, while my brother follows behind. All three of us carry fishing rods, my first time on such a trip. I do not look round to see my brother, fishing rod in one hand, stick in the other to stab bushes and behead flowers. I do not look round, but I can see him, as he can see me as he stabs and beheads. Perfectly fitting hands swing happily together.
Sometimes I imagine having children. No, I mean when I'm alone. 2 big sons to help with the farm, and a daughter to look after me when I'm old and feeble.
Daughters get married, they go away.
Oh, but she'd visit me all the time. Twice a month at least. The grandchildren would adore me, my stories, the comical faces I can make. My fish stew, the best in the world. You remember the Buddhist temple over that way, the other side of the river? It's abandoned now. The chief priest hanged himself. Dogs chewed off his toes, not dangling too close to the ground. Temple's been haunted ever since.
You don't often hear about the ghosts of Buddhist priests.
Oh, no, it's not him. The old gods sent a demon to make sure no other Buddhists tried to move in. That place was a temple long before the Buddha. I could have told my grandchildren that. Almost there. Quietly now, remember.
Why do we have to be so quiet?
You don't remember this place.
Well, it is familiar, I suppose. It's been a long time, Takashi.
You go to the edge, quietly. Look into the pool.
My, oh my.
Do you remember them?
Every colour in the rainbow.
Oh, more than any rainbow I've ever seen.
Oh, they swim so slowly. They're almost still.
You can gaze at them long enough, they still the mind.
And the size of them. Some of them are as plump as melons. When you sell these to the Mansion House, you must make some nice money.
Sell? You think I'd dare take these creatures?
Is it forbidden to fish this pool?
Yes, Yukinari. Entirely forbidden. Oh, you have forgotten a lot. You've been away too long among palace ladies who marry men who like men. Too long among policemen and monsters, men who make crazy new laws and crazy men who break them. Lawyers and outlaws who both affront the gods.
You have become good with words.
This pool belongs to the goddess.
Ah, I'm sorry.
These fish are dedicated to her. They're sacred to her. You know that.
I am sorry, Takashi.
Oh, we'll go downstream just a mile or so. Do some fishing there. Do you remember how to cast a line?
Can we sit here for a while? We could gaze at the fish, calm our minds. Good. Takashi.
What?
I may cast a few dreadful ones at first. Snag a branch or two. Even my own trousers.
I'll try not to laugh.
But I'm sure it'll soon come back to me. I wasn't bad back then. Nowhere near as good as you. But not bad.
Not too bad.
You know, right? There's a special calmness here.
I haven't been here myself since the night my wife died. You might say this place, these fish, stopped me from going insane.
I wasn't sure if you wanted to talk anymore about that. You haven't mentioned it since last night. The unmoving picture in your mind.
I think maybe that's why I asked you to come. I didn't write the letter, by the way. I paid a scribe to do it. I can read, but my writing's still poor.
You asked me to come to talk about that night?
Maybe, yes. Not only that, I mean, I wanted to see you again for years. But, yes, I've never talked about it to anyone. And you're the best listener I've ever known.
I'll listen. It's no hurry. It may well be forbidden to hurry in this place.
Ask me a question. I don't know how to start, so ask me something.
All right. You came into the house, and your wife was sitting on the bed. The lance was...
In her breast.
Were you armed?
Of course not. I'm a farmer.
And yet you killed him. What was his name?
Tobey.
You killed Tobey. With his own lance, you said. How did you manage that?
It's not so difficult. It all depends on the first few seconds. You need to be quick and nimble then. You just have to stay out of the way of his first lunge, out of the way of the lance head. Then grab hold of the shaft. After that, it's a question of strength more than anything. Tobey was not quick, and he certainly wasn't nimble. And he wasn't especially strong. He was big, but he was mostly flab. So I suppose in a way I was armed. I'm a farmer, I work hard, I have good muscles.
So you got the lance away from him?
I was so proud of that lance. Loved the thing. Never went anywhere without it.
In a way, it's a pity you killed him.
Pity? I didn't feel any pity.
But you had to kill him, I suppose. If he came at you after killing your wife.
What do you mean by pity?
I mean, with Tobey dead, can we really know why he killed your wife? I mean, know for sure.
I know why she was killed.
Why?
They were lovers. Lovers often kill each other.
Shall I call the midwife?
No.
This has gone on a long time.
Yes.
Too long, surely.
Centuries.
That mixture of hers.
Fire.
kill me.
But it might give you some relief.
Well, why don't you just kill me? That would bring relief.
Mothers often say that. When they don't want to kill the father, they want to die themselves.
So you've heard?
Yes.
Since you've never gone through this yourself. I've been like this forever. My entire life I've been like this.
What about the physician?
Only if he'll cut it out of me.
It's gone?
Give me some news.
What news?
Anything. Palace news. Quick, before it comes back.
There isn't any, really. Things have been very quiet.
Gossip, then. Things are never too quiet for gossip. I said quickly.
I can't think of anything. It may be quiet out there, but the noise in here has fuddled my brain.
Oh, poor dear Saisho. I know just how you feel.
I have thought of a question. Why were you so sure you would never have children? You said it often. You even wrote a list about it. The freedom of never having children. And yet here you are.
Here I am indeed. In a palace that has no gossip. The world has gone mad.
Why were you so sure?
Experience. I was not always properly circumspect, but I never conceived.
But that's just luck. It means no more than throwing a dice.
Ever since I was a girl. As soon as I was old enough, I've gone months with no sign. Sometimes when it did come, it was with me for weeks.
You never told me that.
There's no gossip. I'm reduced to indelicate frankness. The Empress granted me leave to speak with her own midwife and to her own palace physician. Please understand, Saisho. I wasn't looking for remedy.
Of course not. Simply confirmation.
But even Her Majesty didn't trust her midwife or her physician. So I went outside the palace. I paid a visit to a wise woman.
A village crone. One of those bone and herb enchanting witches, Shonagon.
I also consulted one of the masters of divination.
Did you indeed? Her Majesty granted that too.
The master said the same as the witch. I would not bear children.
Well, now, must we assume from all of this that you and Yukinari have made a miracle?
Pity for Saisho, trapped here with her insufferable, suffering friend. For my mother, in her disappointment in her daughter, that arrogant, bookish little stranger. For my brother, in his anguish of resentful jealousy. For my father. He elevated me, and in doing so he lost me. Pity for the father. The unnameable father, well, maybe someday. Pity for cold, mindless, drifting fish spawning helplessly. Pity for this bedraggled lady, whose only consolation and joy is in her Empress, when that Majesty might as well be beyond the moon. Pity for poor, aching, weepy, bovine Lady Shonagon,